What's up, podcast fans? It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is a very special episode of the Million Pound Mission podcast. We're going to get to listen in as I do a one-on-one coaching session with one of my clients for my Transformation ReBoot program. And we're going to dive deep into the transformation danger zones and come out the other side with a clear action step to take so that they can continue making progress towards those awesome goals that they've set for themselves. Now, don't forget that right now, registration is open through the end of July, where you can do a free 10-day trial of the Transformation ReBoot program and reclaim control over your transformation. Now, let's dive into the episode. All right, Jen, welcome to your hot seat. What would you like to focus on today?
I guess my biggest thing is just trying to figure out, first of all, I think I might expire before the day's over. So
You're losing the voice.
Yes. So I apologize if you're part of my swan song, but anyway, I guess I feel like the nutrition, I'm trying to figure out the nutrition plan that's the right thing for me right now, because I think we had kind of touched on it before that I've done this in the past. I've lost quite a bit of weight in the past, but I feel like what I've done in the past has not been probably the smartest or healthiest choices and route to go. So trying to find the right plan, because right now I just sort of feel like I know all the right things to do, but it's sort of floundering.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are there, Jen. It's more of kind of like what I talk about, like the right tool for the right job for the right time. And so you have access to a lot of things that have produced different results, and we can kind of pull little nuggets from each one of those things. But I think the real area that we can focus on and improve on is the consistency of just being plugged in, as we go. And that's like the whole reboot thing with the 28-day cycles and that kind of taking those stair steps. So I think your focus would be more about just like making sure we are always operating from a home base game plan, like as just a fundamental thing with each 28 days. And then take that experimental mindset and say, all right, right now I'm putting more time in at work, or I'm feeling a little bit higher stress, so I need to adjust my nutrition in this way for this cycle. And then being cool with the next cycle, maybe we keep it the same, maybe we change it based off of what happens. But we don't have to, people get in the mindset where they feel like we have to find a nutrition plan that solves all problems, and it's like a forever plan. And that's not, like, we can just let that whole mindset go. Like, we don't need to put that kind of pressure on ourselves. First of all, like, I must solve this or I am an epic fail. But that's why I like our 28-day jumps. It's like, okay, what's the right plan to use right now? And, being plugged into like the hot seat calls like this, like we can always talk about that and be like, okay, how are we feeling? Here's my suggestion. Let's try it out. And then follow back up next month and let's make some small tweaks if we need to. So does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So what have you been doing like the last 4 to 8 weeks?
I'd say probably I'm trying to eat as clean as possible, but what happens is that I find that the cleaner I eat, the less calories I end up getting. So I'll eat, I'll have breakfast and lunch and get busy at work and whatnot. And then by the time I come home, I will have eaten like 400 or 500 calories for the day. And now it's like 6 o'clock and I have to go off to class at the gym.
Yeah.
And I come home and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat my arm or anything in front of that.
Yeah.
So it's then the wheels come off the bus, and then it's just like this vicious cycle.
Yeah.
I feel like if I can get the bulk of calories and whatnot before I leave work, it tends to work out better. But it's just really like planned out, lots of packing and planning and preparing and whatnot.
Yeah. I think where I see people tend to struggle is when they're kind of free eating and then they're kind of experiencing each day as it comes. Like an analogy I could give you is kind of like if you're driving and you are either, you're on the highway and you're looking 3 or 4 cars out in front of you to see what dangers might lie, or if you're looking at the person's bumper right in front of you. Like a lot of people just like, oh, somebody slammed on the brakes, I gotta slam on my brakes. And that's kind of like the let's take it day by day approach. So I'd really love to see you have a little more structure within your plan. So it's not just like I'm trying to eat clean. It's more of like let's just go a little bit deeper with the rules of the game we're trying to play for the next 28 days. So I mean, I would encourage you to do the clean eating plan and the Hello Abs course. Like that's the plan that I use to lose 100 pounds. It's super simple, but there's structure there. There's things you can eat. There's things you can eat. But it's also made for people that are busy like you. And with that plan, it's the home bases are kind of like 2 larger meals that we try to get whole food in. I encourage people to do that when you're at home. So first meal, last meal, usually. And then there's a kind of quick on the go snacks you can do as you're going throughout the day. But I would, or for you, if you know your evening times are a little bit busier, you could do your big whole food meals, breakfast and lunch, and then save the snacks for kind of on the go fuel as you head off to your evening activities, because those are going to digest a little bit easier. And also post workout, you could do like protein bar, protein shake type situations, and that's going to digest easier, and it's not going to impact your sleep, like a large meal would. So, I mean, I would encourage you to give that a go, because there's no like restrictions. It's not like keto or anything. So you can have carbs, it's a whole food focus, dense nutrition, but it's like this, it's structured, but it's the least like restrictive plan that I've loaded up for you guys inside the course. I think that would be just good to have that template, and then just take some time. What I would do is at like every Sunday, just kind of look at your week in advance and kind of map out like meal prep type stuff. And, we talked about that before, but then each day in the evening, look at the next 24 hours and be like, okay, just general idea of here's what I'm eating big meal 1, here's what I'm eating big meal 2, and here's what I have access to for snacks throughout the rest of the day, and kind of keep those snack options handy. So have some like extra almonds and protein bars and stuff in your gym bag or in your like carb glove compartment or whatever, and have those like break glass in case of emergency. But that way you'll get your calories in front loaded. And some people are like, I don't like to eat breakfast, or I don't like to, I don't like to get up earlier, so I have time to eat. But, it's a sacrifice. So you've identified the issue of not getting enough calories in. So maybe we wake up 20, 30 minutes earlier, heat up some stuff, sit down and eat, have a nice big filling breakfast, and then you've got some calories to start your day with. So, I mean, that would be my main suggestion. Again, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I say we try it for 28 days and see if you at least feel better. Because like you said, at the end of the day, there's nothing worse than being hungry, because at the end of the day, our willpower is usually a lot lower also. And that's double whammy. We don't want that, right?
For sure.
Hey guys, just a really quick break in the action. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. This is just a very quick reminder that my Transformation ReBoot program registration is currently open, and you can start your free 10-day trial anytime between now and the end of July. Now, once registration closes, you won't be able to get in until October. So do not delay. Start your free trial today. Head on over to millionpoundmission.com. Now, let's get back to the episode.
The one thing that I know about myself that I have some concerns about too, which is part of what I feel like for me makes the nutrition kind of hard, is because of some things in my past, like weighing and measuring trigger some neuroses that I tend to go down a rabbit hole that don't always end well.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I support that. Like I support you thinking through that. Some things to think around with that is that you've got me as kind of a backstop. And now that you've communicated that with me, like if you start going down that path, tag me in, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not in this alone. That's the nice thing, is like, I've got your back. The community's got your back. We can figure things out, but also keep it low pressure and keep it an experimental mindset where if we get you in a flow, like the classic plan, the nice thing about it is that you're not doing a ton of weighing and measuring. I mean, there's some there, but there's like ranges, like, it'll be like 4 to 10 ounces of chicken, and there's like a big range,
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, it's not like restrictive. It's like, it's not an eat as little as possible. And then if you're hungry, we add more, we add more clean fuel. So we add a sixth meal or you can combine things and stuff like that. If you want to do it like a double snack and combine them up, like there's a lot of room to wiggle and make it sift and adjust to your lifestyle and schedule. But just think about the first 28 days, we do some weighing, we do some measuring, we get in the flow. But then the next 20 days, I almost guarantee you're going to be in such a flow that you're like, I know I can do this meal and that fits meal one. I don't need to screw with weighing or measuring because I know that piece of chicken is like the size of my hand. And, like you kind of get in that, you get those go-to meals or this stew or whatever. Like we're going to keep it low key, but it's just clean and we're consistent and you're fueled up and you feel good through the day. So, I would give it a shot, and I know that I can support you if your brain starts to kind of work against you there, and you just tag me in. That's the cool thing about having all this support is that you're not alone anymore, and that's a good thing.
Right on. Okay.
Cool. But you have to be willing to reach out. That's the only caveat. Like you can't go.
Right.
You can't hide in the. You can't pull the sheets over your head and go. I hope this fixes itself.
Yeah, for sure. And I've had the last several weeks have been rough on a personal level, so it's been hard to stay as tightly connected as I'd like to. I'm still doing all this stuff and
Yeah.
whatnot and going through the workbooks, but it's just life takes over sometimes.
Oh yeah. I feel you on that. And that's with the community, like we're there for you when you need you, and there's no judgment and there's no shaming or anything like that. It's like you plug in as much as you can. Like I just tell people over and over again, you can borrow my energy, stay in front of my stuff, do calls like this, do the group chats, whatever you can do, and just borrow that energy until you kind of get some traction going for yourself. And then you can level up and match my energy. And that's when we really crush it. That's really the two levels of people that I'm working with are people that are borrowing my energy or people that are matching my energy. And that's both are good. Both are needed. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people struggle. Sometimes I might have to borrow some of your energy. If I'm having a down day, that's what community is about. But that's, we want to get people in that matching energy zone as much as possible. That's when we're really crushing it. But that's why we have all the systems in place and all the support in place, because life happens and we got each other's back.
Right on.
Right.
Good deal.
So any major danger zones next 28 days? We didn't really get to talk about that. Do you have any like trips, travel, stress points coming up?
No, I'm starting my new job, but I'm not super worried about that.
Good.
Some ways it'll be better. I'll be moving into an office that has windows. That
Nice.
would be glorious. Has a door, 4 walls and a door. It's gonna be amazing. So I'm kind of excited about that, and some new challenges and some stuff to kind of refocus at work and be excited about and whatnot. So
good.
I'm getting back into a routine, trying to balance the CrossFit gym and the Taekwondo gym, and
nice.
trying to find that balance. And it's just just tweaking all the little pieces. I think classes, because Taekwondo classes go from 7:30 or 7:45 to 8:45 at night. I don't typically like to work out that late because I don't like to eat before I work out. One night a week isn't a big deal. 4 nights a week is going to be a little bit bigger of a challenge, but I think like we talked about, if I can shove the bigger meals towards earlier and then maybe do a shake or an apple or something out on the way home from class might be the route to go. So.
Yeah. I think that's a great opportunity to experiment with that. And also like with the job shift, anytime there's a big life shift, that's an opportunity where you can kind of redefine yourself and redefine your schedule a little bit too. Like you're entering a new platform, a new environment, and you can create a new normal out of that. So that's something where maybe there's a new discussion of you being able to get to work at a certain time that better fits your schedule. So take advantage of any of those open doors to kind of carve out a new, better overall schedule for yourself. But also keep in mind, like I know you've got goals. You're very driven to do your black belt test and all that. Like, I'm super psyched about that. You got some good mojo going with CrossFit workouts, but just be mindful of your overall state of well-being and stress and all that. When, if you put something on your plate, take something else off to make room for it, or delegate something. So don't just keep stacking. That's important. I see a lot of people burn out with that, and get some sleep so you get your voice back too. No karaoke night for you. All right, Jen.
Truth.
You're out there singing Lady Gaga.
Right. Lots of talking and lots of coughing the last several days. So
yeah.
Boo.
Yep. You're due for some rest days, but I feel like you've got good things going on. So I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but for me, looking at an outside perspective, your mindset is good. You got good goals that are driving you forward, and you're thinking through things. So don't beat yourself up about, we all hit little slumps, and that's okay. And now you're plugged back in, and we can get traction. And that's what I like about the reboot mindset. Every 28 days, we have an opportunity to kind of redefine ourselves and gain momentum. So you're in the right place.
Sure. And I feel like the habits have been really helpful too, because it's just one thing. It's just been like the focusing on one thing. And I've been able to identify certain things that are more impactful than other things, and then can keep those things and add something new or tweak one of the ones before or whatever. So I like the 28-day habit.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it's like the whole eating an elephant type of thing.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the one thing that if everything else goes to complete hell, that one thing happens, or there's a focus on that. You move the needle in the right direction, and you think, okay, there are 13 28-day cycles in a year. So if you can attack 13 points of progress, I mean, that's a good year. Like, if you establish 13 new positive habits, or even let's say it takes you 2 cycles to establish a habit, that's still 6.5, that's still really good.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny because
stacking.
The one habit that I felt like made the biggest difference for me was like walking, like checking my steps, since I work at a desk, like walking at lunch, going out and just taking that 45 minutes or whatever to walk, listen to a podcast or do whatever, made the most difference of anything. And now, of course, I'm in Omaha and there's 25 feet of snow outside, so that makes it a bit of a challenge. But it's sometimes the little things that make the biggest difference that you don't realize are going to be that impactful.
Yep. That's awesome. That's a great realization. Now you just hop on the put on the snowshoes, or
right.
Get out there, shovel your little path out there. Man. Winter is almost done.
I hope.
Regardless of what they say in Game of Thrones, it's, winter is almost done, Jon Snow. All right. Well, I appreciate you. I think you're doing great, and I've got your back. So if you need anything, you just reach out. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, hey there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you are ready to reclaim control over your transformation momentum, then it's time to head on over to millionpoundmission.com and start your free 10-day trial of the Transformation ReBoot program today to get full access to our one-on-one hot seat coaching session, just like you heard with this episode. Now, with this program, you're going to get plugged into an amazing system of positive accountability, an incredible community of like-minded people, and you always have a rock-solid game plan to work from. So important, right? Now, speaking of important, momentum is precious, and I want to help you create continuous positive momentum towards your transformation goals starting today. This very moment can change everything for you. Now, registration will be closing at the end of July, and you won't be able to get in again until October when we launch a new group. So head on over to millionpoundmission.com and get all of the program details. Now, remember, the perfect time to reclaim control over your transformation is right now.